Howdy, it's Jim Morado, hanging out in Franklin, Tennessee. It's the middle of January 2021. This is actually not, I don't know, not that far. It's a little south of Nashville. Kind of just a really nice area. It's still sort of part of what I think of as Nashville. And I think of Nashville as just a long, long area. But this is a great town with a ton of amazing Civil War history. A lot of celebrities are supposed to live in the area. I do recall reading somewhere that the Starbucks here in town, is the place to go to celebrity watch. I don't know if that's the case or not. I've actually never been into that Starbucks, but I've heard that before, and I think that's interesting. And actually, when I'm in Franklin, when I'm in Nashville, I prefer the Frothy Monkey. That is just a great place to get a drink. We stopped here for breakfast one morning, and it's just a small chain in the Nashville area, and we think really highly of it. They have good, unique food, and my wife says they have like the best oatmeal ever. She's big into oatmeal. I had a drink. I had a decaf Americano with oat milk, and it was so good. And that was a breakfast sandwich I had there one morning. But we like the Frothy Monkey a whole lot. It's just a small regional chain, I believe, just in the Tennessee area. And there's a really nice cozy one here in Franklin. So when you're in that neck of the woods, that place gets my highest recommendation. Our friend had an omelet this particular morning that they thought was really good too. But yeah, the Frothy Monkey. But Franklin is just a really cool town. There was a fairly significant Civil War battle fought there, and that's actually why we've gone there a few times to check out some Civil War sites. And in fact, on this particular trip, we didn't even hit the sites like we have in the past. There's several houses. There's 3 houses that I can think of right in Franklin. You can buy tickets and tour those houses. We did that on a different day, and I wrote about that on my blog, kentuckytravels.blogspot.com. But you can Google the houses in Franklin that were there at the time of the Civil War. There's the Carter House, the Lots House, and there's also the big mansion, which is Carton Plantation. And I believe they have a triple ticket you can buy. You can buy a ticket to hit all 3 of those houses, and that's a really cool thing to do. And that, in my opinion, the fact that they have 3 Civil War era houses that played a prominent role in the battle, that's kind of a big deal in my books. In fact, on our first trip, we toured all 3 of those houses. And that was pretty much a day's worth of touring right there. So, but right here, there's in downtown Franklin, the town's sort of centered around their Confederate monument right in the middle of town, and it's an attractive monument. But they have a lot of neat little shops. This is just a gorgeous little town with everything going for it. Coffee shops, nice restaurants, an incredible bookstore, especially if you're a collector and you're into buying some nicer pieces. They have a bookstore that I absolutely love, and the bookstore is in a building with a connection to the Civil War. So that's kind of neat. I probably will talk a little bit about the battle, just because I know a good amount about the battle. But mostly we're just going to be walking around downtown. I got my camera out and videotaped a little bit. There's that Confederate monument right in the middle of town. I think they put that up in the late 1890s, and it's been there ever since. And it looks, it's pretty cool. And they've got I think a life-size soldier on top of it, and it's just been there for well over 100 years now. Again, just an attractive town with a lot going for it. And just while I'm thinking about it, just a little bit about the battle. I used my old blue and gray magazine, The Battle of Franklin by Eric A. Jacobson, as a source. And also the wonderful book, Tennessee Civil War Battlefields, A Guide to Their History and Preservation by Randy Bishop. A couple of books I like a lot. Also used a book I picked up recently, Eyewitness at the Battle of Franklin, compiled and edited by David R. Loxton. That's a neat book. It has quotes. It's just strictly quotes from people that were there at the time of the battle. And it's kind of a heavy book. Not physically, but it's got some descriptions in it that you only get from eyewitnesses. But yeah, a pretty big battle happened here. And you had you had at least a couple of big names in it that are interesting. And actually, real quick while we're there, that little building right there is a cool building with a connection to the Civil War. They used to sell honey. When I was here a few years ago, they were selling honey out of that building. But let me just read to you real quick from a historic marker right beside of this little tiny building. This small building, constructed in 1817, was the medical office of Dr. Daniel Cliff, who lived nearby in 1864. Cliff, a former Confederate surgeon, had switched his allegiance to the Union early in the war. After dawn on November 30th, 1864, Federal General John M. Schofield arrived in Franklin and established his headquarters in Cliff's house and office. Throughout the early and mid-morning hours, courier and teletraffic activity was brisk here as Schofield directed the construction of defensive positions on the south side of town and made plans for the army to withdraw to Nashville at 6 p.m. By 2 p.m., Schofield had transferred his headquarters to the Alpheus Truett home just north of the Harpeth River, about a mile away. Schofield did not intend to fight a battle at Franklin, but instead intended to delay the Confederates until the bridges spanning the Harpeth River were repaired, then cross them with his army after dark and marched north. But at 4 p.m., Confederate General John Bell Hood launched his attack. At that time, Schofield and General Davis S. Stanley were riding from the Truett House toward downtown Franklin. A courier galloped up and told them that the Southern Army was commencing a frontal assault. Stanley spurred his horse toward the front, and Schofield rode to Fort Granger. From there, he watched Hood's army crash into the Federal works south of town. And that's just a cool little marker. Now we're inside of the bookstore here in town. And it's Landmark Booksellers. It was used as a hospital during that major battle here in Franklin. And actually some other Civil War stuff kind of happened here too. There's a historic marker. Just about every building here has a historic marker in front of it. And a lot of them have markers telling about their history not related to the Civil War. But as you can see, and I put some pictures here, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous bookstore. And they love books. And the people that run it are really nice. I didn't see them in there the day we went on this day in January. But the last time we were here, they were really, really sweet little people. We talked to them quite a bit. And I remember my mother-in-law is big into Christian fiction, and Karen Kingsbury wrote a book called The Bridge. I believe it was called The Bridge, and it was sort of inspired by this bookstore and the couple that run it. And it was actually made into a 2-part Hallmark movie, and I thought that was pretty cool. So that's just a cool bookstore. That's one of my favorite independent bookstores around, period. And I like it a lot. Yeah, but anyway, just a little bit about the Battle of Franklin. It was, you had Hood, who is just, I've always thought of Hood as a tough Confederate, tough guy. Maybe not in baseball, he would be one of those pitchers that you put in during a game when things aren't going well. He's going to give you a lot of innings. He might not close it, he might not start it, but he's going to get the job done for a while. Definitely durable. Rumors of some issues with him, drug use and that kind of stuff. He got pretty beat up physically during the Civil War. Had a leg amputated and an arm injured badly. But he was, yeah, he was kind of doing the fighting here, and kind of, well, the Confederates end up kind of getting their butts kicked, and he's blamed for quite a bit of that. And fairly unfairly, it was done on his watch, and it really kind of unraveled things kind of towards the end. And actually, in the blue and gray issue I have, Eric Jacobson disputes a lot of the bad rumors you hear about Hood, saying that there's really no documentation for some of the stuff. So it's kind of interesting reading various accounts. You get different angles of the story of the battle. Right here, we are in Shuff's Music. It's a really cool music shop. I went in because this, of course, there's lots of ghost stories in this town, a town with this kind of history. You hear a lot of stuff. And I just kind of poked my head in because, if you Google or if you read any of the ghost books about the area, this is supposedly a haunted building. And I went in and just, I bought a few guitar picks and chatted with the people running the place, and they invited me just to feel free to walk around and take pictures or film as I wanted. And I thought that was a pretty generous offer. And I just walked through with my camera. I haven't looked for any ghosts on this video, but if you see any, feel free to let me know. They do music lessons here, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. They really nice big building, nice piece of property, and they were really friendly. So, yeah, and I'm not a music person myself. I don't play music, but I stopped here and I did buy a few. I bought a couple of their little logo stickers and a keychain too. I thought it was really generous of them to let me just kind of run around and check things out. And I believe I was reading in one of my books that a Confederate spy lived here at the time of the Civil War. So it's just a cool old historic building, and they're still doing something cool with it now with the music and everything. And yeah, so I thought it was pretty nice of them just to let me come and hang out for a little bit and record. Music, Civil War connection, what more can you ask for? Yeah, lots more cool shops. Nice little square again. There's the monument. Very walkable town. They do. I forgot to mention they do have a great little. Oh, I love this. A little bar called "Oh Be Joyful," which was used during the Civil War to describe intoxicating liquors. I just thought that was cute. I need to get one of their T-shirts. I need to check online and see if I can just order one. They weren't open as I passed by. Some cute little storefronts. I thought I would put some pictures up that we took just walking around town. But yeah, there's a nice little visitor center where they have brochures and some freebies, and they sell postcards and things like that. When we were there last time, they had pictures of just people on the street with like Taylor Swift and other celebrities that have been spotted around. So I thought that was kind of cute. But I was hoping to talk more. I didn't really film enough though, but I wanted to talk more just about how great of a Civil War town this is. Not quite Gettysburg, but just a cute town with some pride in its Civil War history while still maintaining itself as just a nice town. And if you read up on Civil War, preservation of buildings and battlefields, Franklin has come a long way. Some of the sites where things happened and some of the buildings were sort of let go for a while, but they came in, fixed things up, and they're very proud of their Civil War history and all. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that.